Good morning, good evening, depending on where you are in the world, but good day. And today I wanted to start with if you could bring up the picture, Michelle, of the Susan Sontag quote. And I would love to have you look at it, and I'd love to just say it to you and have you hear it. So do stuff. Be clenched, curious, not waiting for inspiration's shove or society's kiss on your forehead. Pay attention. It's all about paying attention. Attention is vitality. It connects you with others. It makes you eager. Stay eager. So just let your body respond to that, hearing that. And this is from many years ago. But I love how many times I've been finding people's experience of attention and the power of attention. And so one thing I wanted to say about that is attention is vitality. And what I recognized in that is that attention is really about the movement of how you're focusing. So you can remove that again now, and we can come back to what is attention. So there were two things in that I wanted to focus on. One is paying attention. So we think of attention as something that I'm paying. I'm either paying for it or I'm paying with it. And so there's a sense to me of there's an attention economy, and that we and most of us are paying it. We're not receiving it, nor are we giving it. We're paying it. And so I'd really like you to tune into when you think about attention and how you're using your attention. Do you fall into the pay attention crowd or the give attention? And they both feel really different to me when I try them on in my body. And I associate pay attention with being in school and narrowing and having somebody else judging me and calculating how I'm paying attention. And then also I'm paying attention, but I'm not receiving really anything for it. We don't really get, if I pay attention, what am I buying? Because I'm paying for something. And so the economy is basically going this way. So I'd love for you to let yourself shift your attention. So that's what I like to start with. Instead of giving or receiving or paying, is shifting, because the basic move that liberates our choice is shifting our attention. So I'd love for you to notice when you shift your attention, is that more a visual thing? Do you do that with your whole body? Is it something that you're listening for and that you let yourself shift because that's what you're experiencing, with your whole body, with your senses? So as you're shifting out. And when you shift your attention out, I'd like you to just notice, is it like a big fan of attention, or does it just plop out there and not land on anything? Or is it more like an arrow where you shoot it out through your eyes, but the rest of your body is not moving at all? So I'd love to have you add to shifting your attention, letting something in your body shift. So when you shift your attention out, just letting something in your body shift, like just letting your shoulders shrug or bounce a little bit, or letting your spine wiggle a little bit. And when you shift back to you, when you shift your attention this direction, letting your body respond to that. So I just found my in-breath wanting to open much more. So that was a shift that I felt when I gave attention to me. And then shifting. So when in doubt, there are two things I've trained myself to do. When in doubt, fear melters and shift my attention. So shifting, And then for me, playing with different ways of shifting my attention just refreshes my whole sensorium and creates what Susan is calling this vitality. And it's also the movement. If we're not moving, just our whole attention apparatus shuts down. So for example, our eyes register movement. And so if we're not moving, we're really cutting down our eyes' ability to register what's going on. And simply shifting your own attention and then letting your body respond. I notice in just this little bit that we've been doing, I'm feeling more parts of me. Like I just notice my hips feeling really centered and solid, and I could feel both of my feet. So it's expanded my awareness of my inner landscape. One of the things that people say and that people have said in my practice for many years is, I don't know what I'm feeling. I just don't know what I'm feeling. And as you let your body respond, you're actually opening up your ability to sense, to do what we call feel, which is one of those words that is, has triple duty because it's used for so many things. I feel like you're really a jerk. That's just how I feel about it. So, but actually feeling into your inner sensorium creates a vitality that you can renew anytime, but you can also carry with you through the day. So, which is why I love to do this in my morning time to set up a blueprint for the day. So, just take a moment to notice how you have opened up your vitality by shifting your attention. And when you do that, when you get curious about, what's awake and what's moving, you might also get a sense of what's not awake and what's not moving. And you could give attention, shift your attention to the place that's not moving. And I like to shift that with curiosity. Like I have a little place in my left sacrum, and a lot of that is from carrying a heavy baby mostly on one side, like I was, back then I wasn't as aware of biodynamics. And so I regularly give that attention, and I'm just curious about, okay, what's wanting to happen there? But I'm shifting my attention to that. And just shifting your attention is going to create movement and vitality. So you might want to add body movement to that, or movement in your mind, but just shifting your attention creates movement. And everything comes from movement, and like rhythm and tossing and noticing and creativity. So one of the other things that she is talking about here is the support for your creativity that can come from just simply shifting your attention. And I love that. So that's what I wanted to start with today. And when in doubt, also, if you add fear melter, so if you just add a little oozing, or you add a little wiggle, or you add a little rooting in any place that you're feeling a little spacey, you can just add rooting into that part of you. It doesn't have to be just your feet. You can add rooting, like I love to do that down through my spine, that I can feel my spine lengthening all the way down into the earth. And then it can expand all the way up, into the stratosphere. So that shifting, and anytime you shift your attention, you're priming the attention pump. And the more that you do that, the more you get to enjoy the reservoir, because everything that you're doing comes from how you are using your attention, both for you and the world and what you're engaged with. So that's for me, I'm just noticing more of a bubbling. So see if there's a verb that arises for you, a verb that you've been enjoying or that you would like to experience today, an active verb. Ah, and if you have one, you can put it in the chat so you can share it with others and they can try on that verb. It would be fabulous. So now I'd love to have Michelle, if you can put up our card from our integrity deck. So if you're new to the company here, this is one of the things we do is play with our integrity deck, because right now, especially, I find integrity gives me a sense of grounding and a sense of structure that's not based on rules, and it's not based on what's going on out there. It's based on my own alignment with the way the world works. So as you're looking at this and taking this in through your body, let yourself continue shifting your attention to the card and then to you. Yes, and thanks for adding your verbs into the chat. And I'd like you to shift your attention while I read the question and read the sentence. I'll start with the sentence. I give full attention to and follow my emotions to their source within me, even when it seems obvious the source is in the other person. So this is an advanced card in the integrity deck. So you may need a little bit more shifting in order to really incorporate it. I give full attention to and follow my emotions to their source within me, even when it seems obvious the source is in the other person. So part of this is owning your own attention. And when you follow, so one of the skills that I love is to notice something going on in my body and then to follow it. So if I give my attention to something, I want to invite you to do right now, and when you let yourself land on it with your attention, it often moves. And so let yourself follow that. And often, like if I have a kerfuffle or an upset, and I'm really sure that it's because that person did, but I actually let myself follow, where am I sensing this in my body? And I follow those sensations. It's always a treasure hunt that gives me something really valuable. So I said, I was actually sad. I wasn't so, I was angry and I was sad. Oh, I was hurt. Oh, I felt hurt about that. Oh, and then I'm aligned with myself, and I'm much more able to communicate from a place of alignment with what's really going on. And then I can speak from discovery. And here's the question: how can I follow my emotions to their source using my attention and body wisdom, even when it seems obvious that the source is in the other person? So this takes account too of our left brain. Our left brain likes to make judgments, evaluations, whose fault is this, who's to blame. So this gives your left brain something to do, which is to discern. Now, I know it seems like the source is in the other person, but what if the source is in me, and then I'm giving attention and letting my own responsibility for this leak out to the other person? So letting yourself just notice again, giving your attention to the card and giving your attention to you, and that shift. The skill that we're really working with attention is giving attention and then following. So that may not be just a plunk. It may be like when I wasn't very good at it, but I was trying to learn how to toss a pebble across a lake so that it would skip 3 or 4 times. Gay's really good at this. And so, we would go down to the beach, and I was dismal at it, but I was attempting to do a skip, a skip, a skip. And that's kind of what you're doing with you, is you're letting your attention go and then following where it's moving to. Letting yourself be able to follow sensations as they move in you is an incredibly valuable skill that allows you both to attune to you, but also to the environment, another person or people, if you're with others. And it keeps you more in the flow of what's actually being created here, what you can discover, and what you may actually want to communicate. So let's come on back to the group here. And I want to say a couple more things about this. This is in the emotional literacy, which I like it that we named it emotional literacy. I was just seeing a statistic in the US. Currently, 21% of our population is functionally illiterate, which explains a lot. And I think over 57%, are, maybe have never really gone beyond high school literacy. So when you apply that to our emotional literacy, I think the statistics would be probably even more dismal. I think they would be, and emotional literacy is something that so many people are afraid of. If I open, it's like a Pandora's box. If I go there at all, it's just going to be this, I'm going to be in a tsunami of feeling. But as you are able to use your attention to be with yourself, that creates a kind of safety, but also a kind of discovery that can really, you can generate it lifelong if you're adding attention, moving, and shifting. So those are some of the components for discovery for this week. And then I also want to share with you okay, so today I'm going to go to our Present Connect play. And for those of you who, I was just sharing this with a new colleague friend that I met over the weekend. And she got to, oh, wow. She got really excited about it. And this is a free app. And I said, yeah, we worked on it for a couple of years. And so when you add what we've just been doing to Present, Connect, and Play, you really have a menu of support for your experimenting, for your being in the world, and for your continuing to discover. So let's see what it has for us today. So today, presence, which is how can I be here with me and with what's going on? How can I presence this? I've used presence as a verb for many years, and it always gets underlined. But I want to invite everybody to use presencing, because my goal is to have presencing become a new verb that gets noticed in the dictionary, because we can't stay present, but we can presence. And when we presence, everything opens up. So presence here is notice your breath with a So we're bringing breath and humming together. And whenever I it opens my breath. I'd like you to check that and see for you when I my next breath feels much more relaxed and expanded. And it creates curiosity, shifts me from my critical brain into my wonder brain, so I can put breathing together with wonder. So with a breath is a great shift move. And whether the feeling is coming from, looks like from out there or from in here, humming with breath, I find I'm here. And it may be just for that moment, and I can do it over and over and over again. So connect is yes, and add appreciation. So there's a whole concept and a practice that I've really benefited from, which is called yes and. Comes from the improv world and was really made famous by the Chicago improvers. And First City, I forget what they're called at the moment. But when I am resisting what's coming at me, it takes a tremendous amount of effort. Whether it's boundaries, or I'm going to just keep this out, or I'm not going to go there, or I'm not going to let it affect me. So when I'm saying no to what's coming at me, that takes a lot of energy. But when I say yes, then I'm going, yes, this is what's happening. Yes, this is how life is occurring. And then when I add appreciation, whoa, that really changes the landscape. So, I spilled something all over the kitchen. I've been doing that a lot lately. I don't know if this is if I'm going, or if the world is spinning faster, but I'll put something down and off it goes onto the floor. So instead of going, and blaming myself, went, yes. And I'm just appreciating how it all landed over there rather than under the refrigerator. And so if I add appreciation, that is my sensitive awareness or something about that is contributing to my learning, that is a wonderful way of connecting. So rather than saying, I've had so many interactions where, the person will go, oh, how are you? Oh, fine. Well, how are you? Fine. And that's it. And it's to me, that's another way of just sort of blocking the flow. But if I go, I even just have a sound. How are you? Whoa. And I'm appreciating that I can make this sound with you, and you get it. So when I add appreciation to the yes and, it's a wonderful way of connecting. Now play. I'm going to just take a moment to have a sip of water. I got so excited that my throat's going, water, water. And I'm appreciating that I hear and feel and respond to these signals from my body. So you can use it also for connecting with you. So it's not just, so something going on in you, instead of going, oh God, there's that thing again, you can go, oh yes, this is happening. And I appreciate it speaking to me. So it can go both out there in the world, but also in you. And then play is do the opposite. For me, that has been just a wonderful way to generate play. So I'd like you to just notice, for example, what's something going on with your posture right now? And I'd like you to take that and just do it a little bit more, whatever it is, like a head tilt, or you've got your shoulders doing something. And then let yourself just wonder about what would be the opposite of that. So I'm going to play with my shoulders. So flunk. So I get sort of a little flopsy doll going. So, and then you can go back into your thing and then do the opposite of it. And when you do that, or like, I'm not playing, I'm mad at you and I'm not playing. What's the opposite of that? So the opposite of that may be, okay, let's just do it. Let's just play. So when you are doing the opposite, again, you're opening up your creativity and you're opening up your play. And you can even play with things that may be troubling to you. So that's our exploration for today. And I also am inclined, I'm going to just share with you one of the disadvantages for me of Zoom is that I never get to show you my whole outfit because, I do a whole thing. It's not just the Zoom call. So, but since you're here and you're regulars, I just wanted to show you, this is my jumpsuit. And I'm going to just back up a little bit more so you can see that it continues the dance all the way down to my legs. So for me, that's also part of the play, is that as we're showing up in the world, your availability to play, your availability to connect, what you appreciate and give attention to. So for me, that's a lot through my different outfits that I love to share with you all. So yeah, so thanks. Thanks, Kathy. Yes. All right. So to this week being full of shifts and appreciation and connections and until next time. So please stay and converse. And so lots of love to you all. Until next time.